Hey everybody. So the big news today is that the Anthropic ruling came down with regards towards the about a year and a half ago or so, a bunch of authors sued a bunch of the AI companies, including Anthropic. And then so in this instance, the Northern California court ruled in favor of Anthropic overall. There's kind of two main parts to the ruling. The first part is that Anthropic did not and is not violating copyright infringement via training the models, although the second part of the ruling is that Anthropic did break the law by illegally getting and acquiring the copyrighted material. They didn't pay for it, and then so by pirating it, and then so they're found guilty of piracy in that instance, so copyright infringement and like not paying for the copyrighted materials in that instance. But the model training itself, they were found 100% not liable. Basically, is the bottom line, and this will get dragged through courts, and it'll get appealed, etc. Right? And then, I think this ruling overall kind of shocked some people, but to me, this was like the least shocking ruling in the world. In fact, literally almost 2 years ago now, September 3rd, 2023, I released a book, The Copyright Conundrum, AI and the Future of Creativity, where I straight up predict that this would be the outcome of this ruling. Like, this has been my stance on this particular issue for a few years now, right? And it's just a matter of understanding the underlying technology overall. And then so whether or not it's good or bad is a different topic and a different issue. Like, my framing overall, I've had years now to think about this issue. I think it's bad overall for society. Like, this is a bad road, and we're on a bad course. But at the same time, there's nothing legally stopping this course. Like, that's the way that it's going to go down. I think a lot of people have misconceptions and misperceptions about the courts and the politicians when it comes to these things overall, right? Politicians, especially, they like to put off a persona, like that dumb politician persona, right? And then that has a lot of uses, and it's very useful overall in politics because it's no matter what, they can get away with a lot of stuff. But when you look at, especially laws that are written, they're written very specifically and very narrowly by people that know the laws. Best example that I can give you within this is I've done a lot of work around HIPAA, right? And then a lot of companies in my consulting career came to me and have come to me with regards towards wanting to get around HIPAA. And then so if you think I'm a marketer, right? I'll go through and I'll beat HIPAA, basically. And then you dive deep into the laws. It's like a straight big middle finger to marketers, and it's very carefully carved out and cut out as to what you can and cannot do around HIPAA, right? It's a very smartly written law from a technical perspective when you understand and you dive into it. Bottom line being that the people that actually make these judgments, these rulings, and write these laws, they're not incompetent in these areas overall, right? And then so within that and understanding that, if you understand the actual inner workings of these models, there's no way for the particular lawsuits that are going forward and have gone forward for them to go in favor of the people that are bringing them forward, just because it's not how the technology works. Like, the technology is legally transformative under every single definition if you understand the inner workings of the technology. It just is. I didn't do it. It's not that I want it to be that way. It's not that I'm hyping it to be that way. It's just that's how the technology breaks down and how it works overall. The bottom line, and explaining it into very simplistic terms. And this is all with regards towards LLM models. I think that the lawsuits with regards towards diffusion models, so image generation, is a whole separate lawsuit and a whole separate can of worms. I think that the diffusion model companies like Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, etc., I think that they are vulnerable under the law. I think that, and I think that you'll see that, we haven't seen a lot of cases with regards towards those companies. We saw Stable Diffusion fold basically instantly, right? But that's all that we've seen come out on that side. On the LLM model side, and on that side very specifically, neural networks is where this boils down to specifically. There's no copyright infringement. And the reason why there's no copyright infringement whatsoever is just simplistically how the models work and how they train and store data, right? And then so how they train and they store the model and store the works is they're not storing Harry Potter word for word, right? They're storing the concept of Harry Potter, the concept of muggles, like the concept of magic, the concept of Hogwarts, etc. Right? And then so these concepts aren't understanding and like just taking these concepts in and of themselves aren't like they don't fall under the copyright in and of themselves, right? And it's not like the model is storing like the literal concept Hogwarts in its weights. It's just that when you get a like a certain balance of a certain amount of weights, the concepts that come out of it are Hogwarts, Muggles, Harry Potter, etc., right? Like Voldemort, like concepts that would be related to Harry Potter overall, but there's no like those like there's no table of those instances and of those words and of those categories that are accessible and like directly inputted into the model overall, right? And then so under every legal definition that can possibly be argued under this, there's no copyright infringement when it comes to these models under those arguments and under a proper legal framework. Like you would have to step very far outside of the current legal frameworks and current legal understanding in order to rule like a different way and to rule against Anthropic on these like arguments, plain and simple, is the way that it breaks down from just a very deep technological standpoint. Again, the fusion models in and of themselves are more susceptible to this, and the bottom line within that is that like the fusion models do store like a like kind of like the image in and of itself, and then they store probabilistic blends of those images, right? And then so like you see like the famous example of the wine glass, right? Like where like image diffusion models have a very hard time creating like an overflowing glass of wine. And the reason is because they don't have like they've never been trained on an image of an overflowing glass of wine. Whereas if a LM model has never been trained specifically on like text around or a story that has to deal with an overflowing glass of wine, it can still produce that story, right? And then so that's kind of the difference, that transformative difference that goes in there and within the technologies, and it very much shields LLM models and neural networks as a whole from the classical legal framework, right? And like kind of the bottom line that I frame this as is like none of these companies are stupid, right? Anthropic isn't stupid, OpenAI isn't stupid, Meta isn't stupid. All of these companies went through and blatantly stole copywritten data. Every single one. Not a single one of them denies it. And then so here we are, right? All of these not stupid companies have not stupid lawyers, and they did seemingly stupid things, but they're not stupid things if you understand exactly how it breaks down within the laws. And then here we go, right? The very first lawsuit, boom, being dismissed exactly as the lawyers said that it would, right? And as anyone that actually understands the technology behind this says that it would, right? Like it's just like overall I'm a realist, right? And then so that's kind of how I try to like frame everything and look at everything overall. And there's like a world that I want and a world that I think would be better overall and a world that actually exists. The world that I think would be better overall would be for courts to rule and find that this is copyright infringement. Like no question. Like I am in that camp 100%. I don't think that that's legal. It's not the law, right? And the law does not exist in a perfect world. The law exists as it does, and then the law has been written without AI in mind for as long as the law has been around, and then so here we are. I think that there are arguments to be made to change the laws, absolutely, and that should be an argument to be made. But I don't think that that's going to come out of the like it would be any sort of like judge that would rule on that would be like they'd be overstepping like the law, right? That's not like it's not the courts that would make those decisions. It would be the Congress, and so like I don't think that's going to happen in the near future. Overall, is my overall assessment when it comes to that as the bottom line. So I think that we're going to be with the laws as they currently are, and then as with the laws as they currently are, every single neural network company, so every single LLM model like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, etc., they're going to win these cases. They're going to lose the piracy case, the piracy parts, right? And they're going to pay like some sort of fines for the piracy, and then they're going to eat that. But that's how it's going to go overall, right? And again, like I mean, like I literally wrote it out like word for word that this is exactly what is going to happen within these cases 2 years ago. And it's like, again, it just boils down to understanding the underlying technology and then underlying the definition of transformative, and then understanding that the models aren't actually, they're not storing anything, right? That's kind of the bottom line within that, and understanding that overall, like it's there's no debating it. There's no gray area within it. It's very cut and dry, and it's a very big problem overall. And it's going to get bigger and bigger, I think, as more of these companies win these cases. But like, as the world currently stands, there is not a legal leg for these companies, like the authors, these companies like Hollywood, etc., for them to stand on with regards towards these models specifically. They do have legs again with diffusion, but like just giving you the like simplistic version of that overall. So like the newest models get around that as well, because the newest models are transformer diffusion models, and then transformer diffusion models don't have they operate in the same category as these models do. And then so that puts all models into this category. And then so if you get sued for image diffusion, like it's a different category and a different technology altogether when it comes to transformer diffusion models. And then transformer diffusion models, I mean, I was right on this, right? And then just in that same vein, transformer diffusion models fall under the same technological limits, barriers, etc., the same technological makeup as typical transformer models, as opposed to diffusion models. And then so in court, they're going to be argued as transformer models, and then they're going to win that because that's what they are. And then here we are again. Like, what do we do about that? I don't know. I don't think the laws are going to change on it anytime soon. Like, you can like be mad about it, but it's again like to me, from a realist perspective, this is the status quo. This is how it is, and it's either be mad about it or embrace it and move along with it. It's kind of like how the world operates, right? The world doesn't operate just because a bunch of people get mad, like unless they do more than that, and that's up to people there. But I'm not condoning anything like that at all, but just saying that, you know, being mad about things doesn't do anything overall. And then so that's the world that we live in. That's the case that came down today. I expect more of these cases to come down exactly the same way. I expect that like in any sort of they're gonna appeals that come out of this are gonna be the exact same way, and that's how this is gonna go overall. As I wrote exactly 2 years ago, here we are, and it continues, right? And so if you like this type of content overall, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.